Hello, everybody. My name is Noah Sweeto with,
Nathaniel Shoemaker.
and we are here back with our Film Nerds Hour. Kind of
We're
butchered that.
here back.
I don't know what just happened. I had like a mind. Okay.
We're just gonna put this at the beginning.
Wow, I like really messed that up. And
Hey, save this audio clip. Put it under bloopers.
I'm just gonna put it in.
Yeah. Okay.
I had like a total mind for it there. All right.
Yeah, we're back here.
All right, but oh man, okay.
I'm sorry for laughing at you.
No,
I feel
it's
like an
fine.
asshole.
I just like I'm like my mind just like totally went out the door, and I'm like,
Glad to know what happened at the start of the show.
did I say what I thought I just said, or
As a witness, yes, you did.
I don't even remember what I said.
Well, we can listen back to it. That's what recordings are.
All right. Anyway, we're the black hole. Finally saw that.
We are the black hole. We're cutting this out. I can't work like this.
All right.
I'm gonna go Christian Bale Terminator Salvation on your ass if you can't get your shit together. You want to trash my podcast?
You want to trash my podcast? What were you staring at? The red light on the mic. Oh, was it lovely?
Oh, and how was it?
It was very refreshing. Crimson Red.
My favorite is a part of that I swear never gets mentioned, where you can hear him pushing things out of the way while saying, "I'm gonna fucking kick your ass."
Right. Doesn't he have? He's had more than one of those moments, though, right?
I think that yes, but that's the only one that is on recording. I believe is the thing, or the first rather.
Okay.
I would love to hear the untold story of the Newsies outburst.
You know, I like a lot of those people. They get a bad rep, but part of me just wants to see them being human and just like taking people out.
It's a lot of pressure. It is a
Well,
lot
yeah,
of pressure,
definitely.
especially when there's a guy in the background going.
Oh, there's a light up there.
I should see it while he's filming.
But no, I definitely feel it though. I mean, you know, you're a triple AAA actor, and you're working with a bunch of amateurs, which, you know, I totally get that.
You're at that point in Hollywood where a lot is expected of you, and if you screw up or phone it in, Hollywood will never let you forget it.
Yeah, it's your ass on the line.
Exactly. It's
So
a lot of pressure.
Which, speaking of actors and asses on lines,
Which black hole are we talking about?
but
I mean, what? No, I didn't. What? No, God, I didn't see. You're weird, audience. I don't know what you're talking about.
What? But
What is
the
my
Black
fault?
Hole, 1979, made by Disney, which, if to what I'm understanding is true, is supposed to be like
Their answer to Star Wars, which is also what Tron was.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I did see that. But I don't even understand why the black hole was trying to be an answer to Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't know, because space hype. A cautious person leaves no stone unturned, is what my fortune cookies said. I'm sorry, if you're cautious, you don't touch anything.
Right? Especially
that causes an avalanche. Yeah, it was because at the time, space was the thing. Like in the 50s and 60s, Western was the thing. And then once Star Wars came out, everything was space.
Well, I think even with the 50s has a fair amount of stuff. I mean, even if you go on Prime, there's quite a bit of fun stuff. I mean, like the other day I found, when I was like walking through Walmart, just looking for something, I saw that they had the Forbidden Planet, Robbie, the robot from Forbidden Planet. They had the figure and it walks everything. Actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
For $20, it's not that bad. They also have the Ghost Trap from Ghostbusters. I think I sent you the link to that.
You did.
And for $20, I'm like, it's all plastic, but it looks.
Yeah.
For $20, that's really not that bad.
No, I'd totally buy it if I didn't have reservations about entering Walmarts ever again.
Yeah, but I think
Life
it's a
happens.
story for another time, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
'Cause,
This isn't Nathaniel's confession booth. That won't happen for a little bit.
I have some of my dislikes for Walmart as well, but nevertheless, they do have some pretty interesting collectible stuff.
Yeah, so don't sue us, assholes.
It's gotta add it at the end. Just kind of sneak it in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how to even start with this movie. Except that it's got a very killer opening theme to it.
Yeah. I don't even know if they knew how to start with it, but that music. Mm-hmm.
The music really is what sold it. Because, at first, when I first watched it, because I know that Disney Plus has some lagging issues if you watch it on console. I don't know if it has issues on DVD players or TVs, but because my dad didn't have an issue, because he's got a Roku, so whenever we watch anything on Disney Plus or he doesn't have lagging issues. But on my PlayStation or anything else or on my phone, it has issues.
I didn't get any lagging issues because I have the app on my iPad, and what I usually do is whatever I'm going to watch, I download it onto my iPad. That way I don't have to worry about the internet going out or buffering or anything like that.
It's not so much buffering. It just stops. The screen freezes, everything keeps going but the picture, and it goes back. So, when I first started the black hole, all I saw was a black screen. So my first assumption was...
I had that same thought too.
Oh, great. Now it just did it again. But the music's still playing, so you can't tell because of the sound reason.
Yeah, that's just how the movie is.
So I actually paused it, and I was like, oh, that kind of just ruined the opening to it.
Yeah.
I'm a cinematic person, so whenever I could feel like I'm sitting in a movie theater just in my own house, it's usually when I start a movie, I like to just watch it all the way through.
Yeah.
Because it gives you that cinema feel. Otherwise, it's it takes you out of the action. Because if you have to pause at this action point and go do something, all the stakes are gone, and then you feel like you have to start the movie for the beginning again.
I mean, my only exception for that is peeing. I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, but I feel like they did it right.
Yeah, they made a pretty decent time. It's a pretty fun movie.
I mean, it's not great, but one thing I want to point out before we even start, other than the amazing soundtrack of the way it starts, is the laser effects in that movie.
Yeah, it really shines.
Even though, I mean, I know they have it on Blu-ray, but I think even on the DVD version and stuff, the crimson red of those lasers was cool. And I don't know if it's because, I mean, I know it's a Disney film, so they have a bit more of a budget. I mean, if I look here right now, they had, their budget was $20 million US, and I think Star Wars, did Star Wars have more of a budget? Well, let's see.
I don't know. That one...
Take a look here. No, yeah. Star Wars had 11 million, so maybe that's why.
Why do I always think Star Wars had zero budget?
Because it was an indie film. Okay. Star Wars, by definition, is an indie film, because that was Lucas's first film that he just so happened to get under Fox's belt.
Yeah. Well, I thought... Didn't he made a short film, and then that got people under his radar, and then he got the deal with Star Wars? Something like that?
Yeah, and I almost want to say that it was American Graffiti, but...
Yeah, American Graffiti came before Star Wars.
American Graffiti, he had Harrison Ford, and then Harrison Ford did carpentry on his set for Star Wars.
Because Harrison Ford's whole deal was he was in it. He was in American Graffiti, so he didn't want to be in Star Wars because at the time he was still very much just a woodworking dude.
Yeah, it was beforehand, and I haven't seen American Graffiti yet. I want to.
It's great.
I didn't even know Richard Dreyfuss was in there too, or Ron Howard was one of the actors in it. So I have
that's a good movie.
Check that out. But yeah, it made a pretty good box office for the time. I mean, 140 million for a little. Mini short film, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, about just racing.
Yeah, I know that Harrison Ford got the role because he was just a carpentry, and George Lucas liked him and was like, "Hey, you want to try an audition for this?" And the rest is history.
Yeah, and in Star Wars, he was table reading with people.
Yeah.
But then people were like, "You do it better than the guys who are coming in. Can you just do it?
Do it for us, yeah."
And without that experience, we might not have Indiana Jones and
which he did really great at.
Yeah.
All fun 80s movies and stuff like that. Which I kind of find it
Blade
funny that people label the Star Wars as the 80s, because technically it was 1979.
Oh, yeah.
But how? Okay, so the Black Hole came out on December 21st. in 1979, and Star Wars came out. That was the summer, yeah, May 25th, 1977.
So I find it hard to believe that they made Star Wars and that came out in May, and then they were like, we gotta compete with this, so they rushed a movie for a six-month production. Huh?
Is it that hard to believe, though? Disney's been known to do stuff like that. There are plenty of companies.
I find it hard to be made sensible. Then again, we are talking about Disney, so who knows?
Yeah, and I mean, not to really slam the black hole, but you got it. There really wasn't a story.
It was kind of just stuff organically happening, which I like that sometimes.
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But there wasn't a really compact story.
Yeah.
It was mostly just like an adventure and a couple of action scenes.
Which sometimes you need.
Which is, well, that's what a sci-fi movie is. So, yeah, I mean, it's the very basic, I feel like, standard definition of... I feel like it's a very basic standard definition of sci-fi and what it is. There's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, with a budget of $20 million, and maybe that's why the laser effects look better. I don't know. But then again, there really wasn't a lot of action. You look at Star Wars, and that was a lot. Mm-hmm. Of action-packed tight fight scenes. I mean, and the black hole really didn't have any major fight scenes, especially in space. There was a couple of explosions during it, but there really wasn't any
I mean, the one in their biggest is probably at the end with Maximilian, I would say.
Yeah, with that big duel and the robots fighting each other, which I did like. That kind of reminded me of Robots when I was little. Oh. Madam Gasket versus Wonderbot.
Yeah. I loved that movie. Robin Williams was great in that movie.
He was. Rest in peace.
Oh, God. I swear, I cried for like 6 months when he died. Like 6 months straight in my mind.
Oh, it's good. Mr. Aladdin, sir. Of course, I can't sing it because I don't want to get copyrighted, but...
Oh, no, you might get copyrighted just for saying that.
In this day and age, yeah.
Yeah.
But, no, I don't know, I feel like I think to me, like, it's a fun movie. Mm-hmm. Definitely would rewatch it just because the laser effects alone are great.
Yeah.
And the fact that they have Anthony Perkins in there is also great.
Yes.
And, spoiler alert, obviously if you're listening to this, so you must, you know.
Yeah, we're spoiling the black hole. So if you guys want, you can, go ahead. I got where you can watch it right here. You can pause it and go ahead on Disney Plus, Vudu, Amazon Prime, Google Play, iTunes, YouTube. Watch it, come back, and hear us talk about it, and think about it.
Because the plot twist is actually definitely worth it.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty interesting to see.
It definitely isn't something...
that I suspected for once.
Yeah, which is something, because you've seen, like...
I usually could tell from a mile away when something's going to be like, oh, this is what's happening. But to actually see that for me was like, oh.
Yeah. And, like... So for that reason, it's definitely something like that wouldn't have been seen at the time by audiences. Like it wouldn't be suspected.
I think because it was before.
Because it's dark.
Yeah, I was about to say something, but I'm like, maybe that's a little too spoiler territory.
I thought we were in spoilers, are we not?
It's true. We already did a good spoiler warning. Because I was gonna say it's a bit too much like Terminator.
Yeah.
Because, like Terminator gave it, like the fact of what if humans were really cyborgs, But they were emphasizing that right away. Mm-hmm. But that was a unique plot twist that I didn't even see coming. And I appreciate that because there's not a lot of movies really for me because I've seen so many and because I've done a couple of shorts. So I try to think of the mind of, like,
how would I write
this? How would I write that? And so seeing that right away, I'm kind of just like, oh, well, it's this guy. Or what I think a lot of the problem is too, and it could be acting, it could be directing, or just naturally is just kind of the status quo of that type of thing. But the one thing that always gets to me too is the fact that you can usually tell a performance of who's the bad guy right off the bat. There's really no...
Because it's usually, at that time, it's usually like the curly mustache.
Yeah, it's very out there. It's very boasted that I'm the bad guy.
Just who it is. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And that's why, like, when I talked to you earlier, I was telling you kind of about the game Red Dead Redemption, minor spoilers for that, but, like, how I could tell Micah Bell was a bad guy right away. Like, he screamed it.
Yeah. It wasn't a surprise at all. It was on the forefront.
But the surprise of that villainy, and even to Peter Bloomquist's surprise, how well he portrayed the character, is how vile.
Yeah.
How vile and disgusting that Micah Bell gets. Like, when you really get into Red Dead, like, to those final few chapters, like...
He goes for it.
Like, you're like, I have never hated... Like, I have never... No offense, Peter Bloomquist.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a great dude.
He is, and I'm blown away by his performance, but I've never actually wanted to punch an actor in the face so badly because they look like the villain, and that's, like, the first thing is, like, how well they portrayed him, then I'm just like, I want to punch that dude in the face.
I feel like I have, but from Game of Thrones.
See, I haven't made it that far into Game of Thrones yet, but I've seen a lot of the different movies and stuff, and there's quite a few villains out there. I mean, even the one that you just watched, Rambo Last Blood, and you know, without spoiling that, because that's definitely one that you need to watch for yourself to appreciate that ending.
Oh yeah,
it is beyond satisfying. But like, you know, with Micah Bell, I mean, that's like the closest otherwise. But I've never even felt that with that character. Like, I really wanted to see something coming his way, but Micah Bell is just so
twisted.
There's just something about the way that he brought Micah to life that you really feel. And I mean, you read some of Micah Bell's history. Yeah. You know, and, you know, so I mean, linking that to the black hole in a sense. Yeah. To try not to strive too far. Dr. Hans.
What's his last name? Hans Rank?
Reinhardt or something.
It's some German name. So
yeah.
It's very much like, I hate this guy.
Played by Maximilian Schell, which is kind of funny that the robot's
that is
also named
hilarious.
Maximilian. Yeah.
The robot named Maximilian, who has a hard
actor,
outer shell. Like, oh my god, get out of here.
Yeah, and the guy who plays Dr. Han's name is Maximilian in real life. That's the funny part.
You think they got that from that, maybe?
Possibly.
Wouldn't be surprised.
But, you know, Dr. Hans, I could kind of tell already.
Yeah, just something about him was off.
It's just that he's alone, I think.
Yeah, he was too calm.
He was too calm. It was the only old man on the station that's so involved in his work. And, you know, and I don't know if maybe it is a time period thing. Because a lot of these, you know, there's so many movies now. But, I mean, something fresh in the audience is because, you know, back then, your traditional person was like, you know, villain was like in the Spider-Man series, like a, you know, mustache twirling, I'm a Western villain, and screams it, but not...
I'm tying her to the train tracks,
But wasn't very vile.
No.
I mean, the closest that you got were probably like comics, you know, like, when was Gwen Stacy's death?
Harry Osborn, that would be...
70s?
I was about to say I think the actual issue is Amazing Spider-Man 129,
and that was like, so I'm trying to think about that, if that was like 70s or 80s, because I thought it was, because really the shock value goes up.
Oh yeah, you don't expect the main character's love interest to get her neck snapped. Are you kidding me?
Or to really have any villain be that vile though, to actually do it. Like, you know, it's always implied, like, in every movie, you know, like, those older movies, that like, the villain is pretty thing. Like, you know Darth Vader's vile.
Yeah.
But you would never expect him, like he did with Luke's hand. And then when you learn that he's his son, his father, you're sitting there kind of like, well, who would cut their own son's hand off, knowing that is your son? Yeah. So why wouldn't you have just used the Force to disarm him? Obviously, you didn't want to kill him. Yeah. But why is it that you're that vile that you were almost willing to kill your own son in a sense? You know? So it really raises that shock value to be like,
especially since that reveal came after the hand chop off.
Yeah.
You're already in shock that Luke now has one less hand, and then to find out that the dude who took it from him is his dad. Like, that's...
Yeah, and I think it almost makes Obi-Wan to be the villain when they change that dialogue, because Obi-Wan never told him the truth about his dad.
Yeah. Well, because Hamill said the original dialogue in the script was that Obi-Wan killed your father.
Yeah. So I think, and that really added to the shock value. That would have been a huge shock value, too.
Both would have been shocking.
But I think I like the father one better for obvious reasons. I just feel like, it would have been interesting, but I feel like that's kind of what Black Hole did, in a sense.
Yeah.
It really took that alternate route, which when you get to about, isn't it halfway in the movie?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
when the revelations start showing up.
Yeah.
They give hints, everything. Like,
and I think, to kind of put it into perspective, it's like, the Black Hole opens as a dark screen and then kind of takes you through a grid-like sequence, like if you've seen, The Last Starfighter.
Yeah.
It's a grid sequence kind of like that.
Which is impressive for the time.
Well, I still find him impressive. I love seeing that. It gives me that retro wave feel. Mm-hmm. And it basically opens on this cruise ship with Captain Dan Holland, played by Robert Foster.
R.I.P.
And then Anthony Perkins, R.I.P. as well, who played Dr. Alex Durant.
He's best known for playing Norman Bates in Psycho, and to a lesser degree, Psychos 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. Only a little bit. And then we also had Joseph Bottoms and Yvette Mimieux as Dr. Kate. And then
Ernest Borgnine
as Harry Booth. Harry, I actually kind of felt that ill will towards. Not as much as Micah Bell, but definitely...
I got an early scoundrel vibe from that guy. Like, he's gonna leave everybody.
So it basically opens with these main characters on a ship. They're trying to explore through space. And they're on their way to discover, the black hole. What happened to that research team, right? Or they... Mm-hmm. So they get to this ship, find that it's pretty much abandoned after they dock, walk around a bit, trying to look around, the usual. And they come across one person, which is Dr. Hans, who is all alone. And what exactly did he say? He said the crew did not make it.
He said the crew left.
Okay. The crew left, and that he's violating the direct orders of their Federation of returning the ship.
Yeah.
To research this black hole anomaly for his research that he believes that he's come so close towards, and that he believes that his team would want that.
Yeah.
But the strange thing about the ship above the one human is all of these different robots.
Mm-hmm. We get a lot of robots. We get Maximilian,
which is a big red floating robot. I don't even know what to describe. Buckethead.
Yeah, Buckethead. Very Buckethead.
It looks kind of like the Royal Guards from Star Wars.
A little.
Emperors.
If they took 20 steroids.
Yeah, if they're big, bulky, but they have
arms.
That visor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the visor.
The visor is a bright crimson red.
Yeah. Doesn't talk. A lot of non-verbal robots in this movie.
But what I liked about Maximilian is because it was kind of like almost a RoboCop thing. Maximilian had a personality. They did a really good job with just the way that his subtle movements.
Yeah.
It was the subtle movements that really kind of actually made me creeped out by Maximilian.
Just the sudden shift or the lifting of the arm and then propeller hands. And...
Yeah, because whenever Max would move, or when Dr. Hans would say something, because it was kind of like a Darth Vader almost, because he'd slowly turn to look.
What?
But there was something with the bulkiness for one. That made him more human-like, and then seeing the red visor, not being able to tell, just seeing a blood red crimson glow where I should be was also, because it was almost like looking at somebody that was sitting inside the suit. It was almost like somebody was just partially robotic inside the suit,
just a head. Sure.
Yeah.
And then we get the other robots, quote unquote, they've got the silver face, and they're just kind of operating the machinery on the ship.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. They're like the R2 units, basically.
Oh, you're thinking of the security guard guys.
Oh,
the laser guns. I'm talking about the reveal characters. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there are before we get to the R2 unit things look at things. The
They're like wearing robes. They look like monks, kind of, and they got like silver faces, and they're just moving the ship and like making sure the terrarium's nice.
That everything's not going wrong. And then you also have the Maximilian looking soldiers that kind of resemble stormtroopers, in all honesty, from their visors. They kind of look like First Order Sith troopers.
They kind of look like if C-3PO had a gun
mixed in with the stormtrooper kind of helmet design. So there's that, and then there's also the black guards, which I think they're part of the reveal too, if I remember right, aren't they? Or is it just the monk looking people?
It's the monk looking people. The black one, he's only there for like that shootout.
There's a couple of them though.
Oh, there is? I thought there was just the one.
No, that's where they have that big shootout too. There's a couple of them.
They're higher up than the red ones.
Yep, they're like the leaders of that. So, but they're like those robots too.
Patrolling guys. We still haven't mentioned my favorite robot.
Vincent?
Yeah.
Yeah, which getting into that, Vincent is one of the robots that's like a floating R2 unit. So he's like a if you've seen Dr. Eggman, I think it's the best representation from the classic Sonic games. Or, in his little hover round chair. It kind of looks like that, but if he had a white helmet with a big red stripe going over it and just had his eyes sticking out.
Yep. He's very sassy, and that's why I like him.
Yes, he has a very big attitude.
Voiced, I just looked on IMDb and I was shocked by this. Voiced by Roddy McDowall.
I'm trying to think. What has he been in?
So, he was in the original Fright Night as the vampire.
I haven't seen him.
More so, he was in the original Planet of the Apes franchise.
Oh, okay. I think... Okay.
He was Cornelius in 1 and 3, and then Caesar in 4 and 5.
Okay. Caesar was in the... Okay.
There you go. It's all coming together.
I haven't seen all the Planet of the Apes movies. My dad has all of them on Blu-ray, and I've been meaning to pick that up one day. Probably not too soon, but...
They're my favorite things to watch, like, for a sick day or something like that.
They're really good movies.
Yeah. They're really good stuff. Whoa, he also... I'm sorry to interrupt. Roddy McDowall also voiced the Mad Hatter in the Batman the Animated Series?
I always forget the Mad Hatter, because that just makes me think of Alice, and I know it's supposed to be their play on it.
Yeah, that's the whole point. It's based on that character, but... he's more of a forgettable Batman villain. You think Batman, you of course first think Joker.
Well, yeah, or...
And then Bane, Penguin, Riddler.
I was going to say... Two-Face.
Two-Face. Yep, that's another one. Two-Face got a raw deal in Batman Forever.
I think Tommy Lee Jones... Well, I think Jim Carrey, because of Tommy Lee Jones, is...
Jim Carrey very much overshadowed Tommy Lee Jones in that movie.
I think that's why he hated him so much.
Tommy Lee Jones hated Jim Carrey?
He does, yeah. He did not
like
working with him. He did not like working with him on the set. And Jim Carrey says he has no ill will. Apparently, Jim Carrey's story is that they went to a dinner and somebody pointed out that he was at the diner and he went over to say hi to him, and Jim Carrey's like,
Tommy Lee Jones?
Tommy Lee Jones, think is like, I hate you with like every bone in my body. After giving him a hug. But Tommy Lee Jones has been known to be kind of a dick to people.
Well, I can see why they... Now that I'm thinking about it, I can see why they would have hated each other, because they have such opposite, like, acting rapport.
And that's why.
Tommy Lee Jones is a very serious, we're doing a movie, let's not do anything. And Jim Carrey is very like, ha! You know?
And I think he told him that's mostly why. Yeah. And that's why Jim Carrey suspected, because he's just he's not a very offbeat actor, you know? No. Or, I mean, he's a more onbeat actor, and Jim Carrey is more kind of off.
It's comedic. Whatever. It's fun. We're making a movie. It's fun.
I mean, look at Sonic. When you really rewatch it and you hear some of the stuff, like he said, "Oh, my babies, look what came out of my egg sack."
Yeah.
And you're sitting there like, "Wait, what?"
Rewind for the children movie, please.
My friend posted a clip on that on her Snapchat, and I just watched it, and I heard that, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, what did he just say?" And I played it back, and I'm like,
"Hold on."
He's like, "Oh, my babies, look what came out of my egg sack," and I'm like, Oh! Okay. So that's a thing.
So that happened. Yeah. So yeah, Roddy McDowall as Vincent is really good. And then we get that other robot that's
Bob.
Bob, who is the same... He's from the same manufacturing line, but an earlier model. Correct?
Yeah, and that's why he looks trashy and kind of melted down and whatnot.
Well, and like, I was watching it and he was like, saying hello to him. He goes, "Yeah, a similar unit of mine, manufactured in the great state of Texas." And I was like, please don't give him an accent. Please don't give him an accent. Hello, Vincent. Oh, God in heaven. Yeah. I don't know.
Oof. Trying to think of what else to say on that.
On the accent, the Texas accent part?
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. Just some stuff occurring in life. You know how it is. You've been there. So, yeah, Texas accent having robots.
And I still don't know how to feel about that. Even with the time I've had to process
It's corny. It's corny. And there's no way around. It's corny.
Not to offend anybody,
but
I'm going to say... not to offend anybody, but I'm going to say what Spectacular Spider-Man said to Shocker in the series.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that accent makes you sound like a rodeo clown.
Yeah.
And it literally does look like a little rodeo probe. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
There's something
really.
about it that really just makes it look rodeo.
I don't imagine we have many fans in Texas.
Probably not. No, I would have made another joke.
I say that we look at our analytics 90%.
Well, I was about to say, and then I realized that that the joke I was about to make probably isn't that good to make. That
so the movie,
but I did find it interesting.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's fun.
Each choice that they made was interesting. So kind of getting up, there's not really a lot to tell except for you to take it in for yourself. There's not like a concrete story. It's just one of those popcorn movies, but in a good way.
Yeah. We say that a lot, but I feel like it's true. Like there's a lot of movies like that.
I mean, there are some that really are just appalling, like the movie Zombie Croc.
Zombie Croc? Is this
Don't even bother.
Is this another Asylum adventure?
No. It makes Asylum look like The Godfather.
Wow. Really?
I shit you not. It literally makes it Sharknado look like The Godfather.
Like that's how bad it is?
That's how bad it is.
You're making me want to watch it more, Noah.
I fell asleep 20 minutes in.
You fell asleep?
I don't fall asleep to movies, and I can watch all bad movies regardless. Like, I think even the movie House Shark would probably be better.
Thanksgiving?
I have seen bits and pieces, and I think Thanksgiving would still be better.
Gobble, motherfricker.
No, it's that
it's
bad. I mean, when you literally take a picture of your actor, Photoshop it onto a video of a billboard with fake bullet holes that don't even have the white cut out of it, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, that sounds bad. Even out of context, it sounds very bad.
I mean, I'm going to college for short films. I've made short films. I understand budget, but my God. My God. The film gods are displeased.
How big of a budget, I know I talk about him all the time, how big of a budget did Kevin Smith have for Clerks?
You know what? I don't even know, but...
It was not a lot.
I've seen killer animal movies on a budget, though. Mm-hmm. And Zombie Croc is something. But see, the difference is like $3.2 million, but that's nothing.
Clerks had $3.2 million?
Yeah.
For a budget?
Or no, they made the box office. Wait.
Yeah, they made $3.2 million. I was going to say their budget was like
in US $230,000.
Yeah, that's nothing. That is nothing.
And then in 1993 $2,700,575.
Yeah, and how they made
in US.
2,700
both in US.
Yeah. So how they made, I learned about this, how they made most of that money. Kevin Smith, I think I told you this, he sold his entire comic book collection. Like, all of his books, all of his figures, everything, just so he could make his movie. But what I didn't tell you is how he did it. He sold it to a comic book shop and got $2,000 store credit for for all of his stuff, which he said was worth like $10,000. He got $2,000 store credit. And then his friend Walt Flanagan purchased things with the store credit and flipped them. And that's how he made the budget for that movie. But, I mean, it made $3.2 million, so...
You know, it's kind of funny, though, because they really screwed over the scam artists there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, because they invested it in film. And the other thing, too, is, like, that movie is black and white.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, when the movie came out, were like, oh, it's such art, because it's in black and white, because we're supposed to be watching from the perspective of the store video camera. In reality, he made it black and white because it was cheaper.
Yeah, because of all the color grading you would have needed for the security cam quality and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is initially why I did not watch it before I got into stuff. I still haven't watched it yet, but was one of my things, but I want to watch it.
If you are a person who works in customer service, you will love this movie to death.
I've never worked in customer service, and I never want to. I think delivery driving and people in stores giving them their food was enough for me.
I did fast food and customer service. That's why I don't want to have to do that again.
No. I will do delivery driving, but I will never again work in food directly with people or...
Because it sounds like a cliche, but it's really how you find out how stupid people can be.
Yeah. Like when somebody asks you for something that's already on their receipt, and they ask you like 2 times.
Yeah.
And you're like, and you're in a small store, and you're like, yeah, it's in that cooler over there. And they're like, okay. And then they're asking you like, oh, wait, can I get this soda? And I'm like,
you already have it.
You paid for the soda. It's over there.
Yeah, exactly. My least favorite is when they question your intelligence.
Yeah.
I don't think you know what you're talking about. Are you sure? Because I'm paid to know what I'm talking about.
I would hope that me getting paid to do my job to provide for you.
Yeah. A service.
There's some funny stories at GameStop when I talked to the dude there. Just like, you know... he's trying to sell a Switch. Temporarily going off topic, he tried to sell a Switch.
Yeah.
And this dude called him up and was like, well, what's the difference between the Switch and the Switch Lite? So he gives him a list down of all the other things. He's like, so basically nothing. You just wasted my time. He's like, No, there's a very big difference between the Switch.
You can't put it on the television.
Yeah, and then to the Switch. He's like, well, I could just look that up, so thanks for making me feel stupid. And the dude's like,
you're welcome.
You asked me to tell you, and now I just told you.
Yeah.
Apparently he just cussed him out over the phone. It was like, okay, bye-bye. And I'm like, why do you people do that? It's like, you know, it's like the same people who give a movie review. Mm-hmm. You know? Like, it'd be like you asking me about The Last Jedi. Oh, God. Just the one time we're going to do politics on this show.
Mm-hmm. The most political we will ever get on this show is talking about The Last Jedi.
Which I'm not going to take my nickname for it, just out of respect.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a god-awful movie.
It's not great.
It totally disrespected and debunked, or not debunked, but, well, yeah, debunked everything that was supposedly real and took every last thing that we thought we knew about Star Wars and just flipped it on its head. Regardless to say, I am not a fan of it.
There's something to be said about watching your co-host visibly get angry.
The Last Jedi honestly makes my blood boil. It really does, because I just...
You're shaking, dude. You can't have anger.
But...
Yeah. But regardless, The Black Hole is better than that movie.
Honestly. But no, The Black Hole, going back to that...
Do you want to talk about the twist?
That's what I was going to get into next. Yeah. So, basically, not a lot happens. Like we said, it's a popcorn movie, but basically...
A lot of talking, a lot of dialogue.
It's kind of like the original Star Trek movies.
Mm-hmm.
Just less boring. If you guys have seen Star Trek 1, I don't know what everybody's opinion on it is. I watched it. I personally thought it was boring. It was very, very... It was like watching what should have been broken down into maybe a 4-episode arc of the original series thrown into a movie. And there's nothing wrong with putting it out there. I'm pretty sure for the time it was out there to see... for people who love Star Trek during that time period to see a full-fledged feature instead of having to sit and wait for an arc.
Exactly.
That was cool. And I can respect that because I'm pretty sure that's probably just for that time period that people were like, okay, well, what can we do to make Star Trek fans before we do anything, more out there?
Sure.
So I feel like Black Hole's kind of like that, just with more action, a lot of dialogue and everything.
Mm-hmm. I like these scenes that take place in outer space because it feels very uncomfortable and claustrophobic. You know what I mean?
And as the fake as the design looks, they look actually pretty real.
Yeah. Their anti-gravity effect that they do, I don't know how they did that.
Yeah, especially the lasers, like just shooting the asteroids. Like their explosions were very well done too. But basically, opposed from that, kind of like these shooting practices and them the doctor explaining about how he survives and they get fresh food and yada yada yada. It eventually comes to the point where they're getting uncomfortable that Maximilian is following them around and giving them like this death glare. And like, if you watch the movie, you'll understand. There's something about Maximilian where you see him visually.
It's immediately unsettling.
And it's immediately unsettling. Like, just his posture really gives his facial expression.
Yeah. It really does. And then, like, when things start happening, they start happening.
Yeah. So
like it's kind of a slow crawl, and then we're off. And
yeah. So it's like kind of getting out of the atmosphere, and then you really shoot up there. But it's worth it. I mean, the action scenes are very well done in there.
Oh yeah, the laser effects.
The laser effects, which I just can't stop talking about because they really are good. And I think what I was saying before, like with Star Wars, it may be because of budget wise. Or that the lasers are in fact longer. They shoot like beams instead of bolts. Mm-hmm. So that could give it more time. But the laser beams were actually pretty freaking insane. Even some of the parts where they had like some of the machinery shooting electric out. Yeah. Which I thought was great. Which I think would look great on Blu-ray. But I know it's a collector's item and it's rare. So I'm kind of looking around just to put it in my collection.
For the sake of it,
For the sake of it. Well, because, like, I think I've told you this before, especially, because, like I tell everybody, most people are like, why don't you watch a streaming service like the Black Hole? And I'm like, well, what happened was I was going to watch Event Horizon, and that got taken off Netflix along with The Matrix. I have The Matrix on DVD, but I'd like to see it on Blu-ray. Yeah. Because it looks much better, and I've only seen HD clips. I started watching it in HD. So that pretty much royally pissed me off, to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
And that a lot of Amazon took off some of the movies I was going to want to watch, too. Like Galaxy of Terror got taken off, and a bunch of other good movies that I was looking forward to finally watching gotten taken off, which was kind of strange because I thought for such low-budget movies they would have stayed on there.
I was mad when Netflix took Galaxy Quest off, like the day I was going to watch it.
Yep.
Because that movie is art.
Because, Event Horizon, apparently they took it off just a couple hours before I was going to watch it. And I'm like, why didn't
hours?
Oh! And I was like, so I was
feeling
pissed off that I was like, why can't we just have a base where we keep these on for like a month or two, not just have a month of this, and this.
I mean, would you have been more angry if you were mid watching the movie?
I've had that happen before, though.
No. With what?
Forrest Gump.
That's like the worst movie to not finish.
And it really pissed me off. That's why I wish that they would really give like a last warning on a notification, but like send you a notification or something, or like when you first open, say continue this title, it leaves this here.
Just so you know, these things on your watch list are leaving.
And stuff like, on Prime, I don't even know if they send a message, but when they updated it for those profiles, they took a lot of shit off, and that really irritated me because they took Damnation Alley off, which I was in the middle of.
Yeah.
And I was trying to watch that because I wanted to do a podcast for you guys for that one too. I was going to recommend that one because that has Jamie Earl
Lee Curtis?
No.
James Earl Jones.
The guy who played Rorschach in Watchmen and Freddy in the 2010 remake.
Yeah.
Very talented man.
Very underrated actor. Very cool guy. I've heard he's a cool guy.
Jamie Earl Kennedy.
There you go.
I believe.
What? Isn't he like bald in real life?
Yes.
Yeah. And he's got like the huge glasses.
Yep, and he's all the freckles. He's a redhead. Let's see.
Yeah.
And there was another one that somebody recommended to me. We might be getting a new host that we could do.
Oh, yeah.
Jackie Earl Haley. That's right.
Okay.
And I absolutely love him. He's a very talented actor. Jan Michael Vincent was in there too. And I've seen in Damnation Alley.
Who is the...
Tanner, he plays the main guy.
No, I mean, who's the actor? What else is he in?
Who?
Michael Vincent. Or whoever you said.
Well, they made a reference to him in Rick and Morty. In season 2 during interdimensional cable, where they're like, we need one Jan Michael Vincent to Quadrant A and one Jan Michael Vincent to Quadrant E.
Oh yeah,
and
God.
Yeah.
When the next shutdown happens, I'm binge watching Rick and Morty again. I'm sorry if I'm jinxing it. Gonna knock on that wall.
You know, I already have the complete seasons 1 to 3 on Blu-ray, and that's all I've been watching. I've binge watched every season about 10 times now.
Nice. I'm right now watching some anime, and I download it onto my iPad, and I go to my little trailer that I'm living out of right now, where there is no internet, and I just watch without buffering.
Oh, right. Nice. Hey, I mean, it works.
It's something.
But yeah, the big plot twist, going back to the black hole.
Yes,
after
big
this,
plot twist.
Is that
because Han says early on that everybody died, all the other crew members,
or left.
They all got on a different ship and left. Her dad died, but everyone else didn't.
Yep. Which shows Dr. Kate's dad died.
Dr. Kate, the psychic person, because sure. That was my reaction when they were like, use your ESP to talk to him. I was like, all right, that's a thing.
Yeah, it really felt like Star Wars meets Star Trek.
It really did. So it's revealed that the robots that we've been seeing walking around...
They're dressed in robes.
At one point you see one with a limp. You see what looks to be a funeral happening at some point. And all these clues are leading to the fact that he basically lobotomized and gutted them, essentially, and made them into robots.
To save them.
To save them, quote unquote, which... You see their face when the face reveal happens, and it's like, I don't think you saved him.
Yeah, and
that's not living.
It's haunting.
Yeah,
like the visual effects are visually
effective
a lot. For that.
The visual effects are visually effective.
I know. The brainy herdy don't work so well.
Oh, really? Check beginning of this episode.
I think I meant to say. What did I mean to say even? No, the makeup was spot on though.
Yeah, really good.
And it was just very, very horrifying.
That's what I liked about old movies, like The Thing and stuff like that, because your special effects artist was your makeup artist.
They could look fake, but it was so real because then if you saw it in real life, you're sitting there like that submachine phobia.
Yeah.
That I showed you. Now you should understand why I don't like animatronics underwater. Yeah. It's horrifying. It's not so much drowning. It's
what could go wrong.
It's what could go wrong, and just like if you fell underwater and just saw that face staring at you, like. Imagine just falling off that ride, that Jaws ride, and then just seeing the animatronic shark crawl towards you. And then just stop right in front of you.
2 words for that. Hell no.
You'd be sitting there and like...
Oh, I
The other thing is, I don't like looking at decaying things and then having that water in my mouth.
Yeah,
it grosses me out. It'd be like if you drank rusty water. See, it's just nasty to think about.
Yeah, thank you for that after we just ate Chinese food. Oh, God. I'm looking at the fortune cookie right now. But
yeah, and it was a very decent reveal, though.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Did you see it coming? I don't think I did.
I didn't see that coming. I knew something was wrong, but I did not expect that every person on there. I thought that they all left, and the dude was just some psycho, Albert Einstein trying to figure out this master plan with the whole.
Let's be sure, we knew he was crazy.
Well, yeah, but I think the other big plot twist, too, is that Maximilian was behind some of it, too.
Yeah, because he says, save me from Maximilian.
Which is after Anthony Perkins' character is killed.
I was shocked by that. They killed their, most well-known actor.
Yeah, Maximilian takes a blade and shoves it through a book.
Yeah, and you don't see it enter you don't even see really any blood, but you see the man make a face of pain and get tossed like a rag doll.
Yeah, because it is only PG. And, like, you know, with Star Wars, the only amount of blood or guts ever was the bar scene when Obi-Wan sliced off the dude's arm. Which I think was later edited. Or, no. It wasn't edited out. And then the Tauntaun scene where the guts come out when Han tries to save Luke.
Yeah. Well, like, and then wasn't because he chops off the arm in Episode 4... and you see blood coming out of the arm. Wasn't that later debunked because it
cauterizes? So that was their mistake that it was supposed to do. That because what lightsabers are is they cauterize the runes, so there's no way that blood would escape. That's why Luke's hand didn't bleed. Otherwise,
and that's why Anakin in Attack of the Clones, when he gets his arm cut off, there's no blood or anything. It's just a straight piece. Because
unless to go into Star Wars territory quickly. The thing is, if you know what a lignin blade is, a lignin crystal, the lignin blade gives off heat.
Yep.
So, but every other lightsaber opposed from lignin does not.
Mm-hmm.
All the heat's all concentrated in one beam, so that's why it cauterizes. Lignin, I think, it's definitely going to cauterize, but that would be quite interesting to see somebody fight with that.
It's interesting reading the older Star Wars books. And
the expanded universe.
I say they technically are older, but yes. Is that another one of your trigger words?
I'm just going to say it now to everybody. I don't believe that there's a canon. I believe there's the expanded universe and the Disneyverse.
So, the Star Wars books that came out before 7, 8, and 9, is that acceptable?
Yeah, before Disney era.
So they go into the history of, like, before... We're talking so far back in Star Wars that a lightsaber hasn't
2,000 years?
Yeah, it hasn't even been invented yet.
No. 20,000.
Yeah, it's way, way before. So the first kind of lightsaber-like weapon was a sword that you, like, empower with the Force. The only issue with that is every time you use it, you would slowly start turning to the dark side. And then they made the first, like, proto-lightsaber, kind of, which had a backpack power source and a cable going to the saber. And the big issue with that is you cut the cable, the sword's done. And those came before the actual lightsaber we know today. A little bit of trivia.
And the more you know, and I really just want to put... I really just want to put film nerds, or like nerd bits.
Nerd bits? Please be more specific when there's two male hosts when you're talking about nerds.
I didn't think of that. I didn't take it there, but
well, then I guess
that's a first.
I guess something's wrong with me now, isn't there?
That's a first.
That's my new show, Nerd Bits. It's my new not safe for work Reddit forum.
I feel like that's something that you do for celebrities. Oh, in this scene, no emphasis on what that type of scene is.
We have Rick and Morty voice actors.
What is Justin Roiland doing in there?
Yeah. Have you seen Justin Roiland's first TMZ interview? He gets so happy because he's like, I made it!
Oh, God. TMZ of all places, but hey, it's TMZ!
He was like, TMZ? Yeah. And he's like, have I done it? Am I famous now?
That would be me. I'm just like paparazzi around the corner.
Yeah. You'd be excited for like 5 minutes and then you'd be like, I hate this already.
Well, I think I'd be the one who sits and talks to them for 2 hours.
You give them philosophy lectures and they quit paparazziing and become 7th grade teachers.
Something like that, yeah. Or they're just sitting there like, really? So this happened outside? And I'm like, so there I was, and Daisy Ridley is over here, and she's just doing her own thing. I'm getting ready to do Michael Bay's, big action scene, and I'm sitting here like, all right, let's get this started. And they just sit there like, wow. He's actually talking to us.
They're sitting.
What?
They're sitting crisscross like little toddlers watching you.
Noah's giving us stories through Hollywood. Huh. Should somebody be recording? Shh, he's not done yet.
Meanwhile, your wife is in the background. Honey, we need to go to Aldi.
I'm almost done! Just one more story.
Let me be nerdy for 5 seconds.
Well, I think that's the problem with me, because I can walk into those comic shops and I will not come out for like literally 5 or 6 hours.
Give me my moments. All you ever want is grocery shopping and sex.
Right? The kids need to go get ready for school tomorrow. They can get themselves to bed. They're 5.
They're fine. God.
That's nice.
Let me read the new Batman.
They're men and women already.
Yeah. They're adults. They're fending for themselves in the wilds.
But
So yeah, reveal of Reveal of corpses. Man, we go everywhere.
Were you about to say the reveal of Hannah?
No, aliens.
Aliens.
Hannah? Well, that was really Freudian for you.
I was
going to
say
those two words.
I thought you were going to say Hannah or Alia, and I was like, what?
Did we ever even address that?
What?
That she was a host once and now she's gone.
I don't think so. But I don't think we really need to.
Stuff happened. Move on. Go.
Yeah, there we go. She was here once. It's over. Now.
Oh, man, are we going to get sued? Okay.
All right. Oh.
So it's revealed that the robots are corpses.
The robots are corpses that are still somewhat living. But they have most life sucked out of them. And
Norman Bates dies.
Yeah, pretty much. So to kind of put this in perspective, I can't English well.
Perspective.
Really, what this comes down to, I think, for the black hole is that basically they arrive on the station. A bunch of unsettling events with just kind of the robots, the weird atmosphere, finding only one human on the ship. And then they decide that they want to leave because they have like a superstition that something is really, really wrong.
Understandably, they're cautious.
Yes. In which they run back to the ship, and that's when they communicate with Dr. Kate, and
she tells them what happened. And
they tell her what happened, and at this point, Perkin's character is very, very intrigued with Dr. Hans and his science and devotion to...
He's almost hypnotized.
Yeah, basically. Like, he's just so involved in wanting to see what's happening with him in his research project. And basically, Kate pulls him over, tells him what's happening. He goes over slowly when Dr. Hans isn't looking, and Maximilian, everybody is busy, and he pulls off the mask and realizes that those are really the crew under there.
They were people at a point.
Yeah, so, and then they're basically just live slaves at that point to their robotics.
Yep.
And Maximilian
it's a real bummer.
Dr. Hans. So basically they run back to the ship to try and rendezvous.
They attempt to. They get to the elevator.
Yeah, and Kate is about to get lobotomized and basically turned in to one of the monk things with those big, or one of the kind of robotic monk looking people that were the previous crew in this big machine. But Captain Dan saves her just in time with some awesome laser effects and practical effects with the robot. So that was actually really cool. So getting to see him come in and save her was actually pretty cool. They had some really cool special effects. And then the second thing was after that they have this big shootout on this kind of like deck hangar. It would kind of be like if you guys have ever played or ever seen the inside of a Federation ship or Star Destroyer, where they have just two big gaps in like an engine room or whatever. If you play Battlefront, so that was actually pretty cool to see too. The laser effects definitely stand out there, which is really, really cool.
And then Harry leaves him, right?
And then Harry, sneaks away after. I'm trying to think of the other one. They're not showing the names. Trying to look up the names. After Lieutenant Charles Piercer comes in to try and help him out. Yeah. Because they end up getting overwhelmed and surrounded by the different robots on the ship.
Yeah, he takes their ship and abandons them.
And then, Harry Booth ends up sneaking away when he's supposed to be holding onto the ship, leaves, and by that point, Dr. Hans and them are getting ready to fly into the black hole to go discover it.
To see what's on the other side.
Yeah, and he ends up telling Maximilian to blow the ship up before any of the crew on there could tell the Federation or so that they were out there and that they had turned the crew into slave robots, basically.
So it's a good thing that that he thought they all died.
Yeah.
That they weren't on that ship.
And Harry deserved it because the whole time he's just sitting there being a coward, and I understand why.
Yeah.
But, to leave your own crew there was kind of a dick move.
Kind of scummy.
That's what we call in a human culture a dick move.
That's what we call an asshole here on planet Earth.
Sorry, but you know what I'm referencing to.
Yeah. There's synonyms.
But yeah, so after that, they blow up Harry, and they think that the crew is dead. And from there, they end up descending into the black hole. And then basically, I kind of almost forget what kind of happened.
They get chased by more robots because they're gonna go for the probe. They're gonna go for the probe.
Okay.
Because remember, he's gonna send out the probe, and the ship's falling apart. Hans dies.
Oh yeah, they sent out a probe to check out what's inside the black hole.
Yeah, so they're gonna be able to be in the probe and be safe going through the black hole. So, who else do we lose? We lose the Texas robot. Thank you, Christ. I'm sorry. I'm sure the guy who played him's a great guy, but
which was killed by Maximilian as well, right?
With that final fight.
And Vincent goes to comfort him, which was actually surprisingly sad scene a little bit.
Yeah, a robot comforting a robot because a tertiary robot killed him. You wouldn't think you'd feel anything, but
yeah. One thing to get straight about this movie too is that Vincent and Bob really built personalities.
Yeah. Oh, they are all personality.
Yeah, as much as annoying as Bob was, with kind of his accent, it was still he still had a very well drawn character. That's something I really respect about this movie, that the robots really have personalities.
Yeah.
I felt more personality from them than I did C-3PO and R2-D2, to be honest.
Do you think
and maybe that's because they both could speak English.
Yeah, they both had back and forth that you actually could understand.
Yeah, but I almost question that in this perspective because everybody can understand Chewbacca and you have no idea what he's saying.
Yeah.
Even though each actor, like Peter Mayhew and then the guy who plays him now, all say the words in dialogue.
R.I.P. Peter Mayhew.
What?
You didn't know that he died?
Oh, R.I.P. Peter Mayhew. I was trying to figure it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So Kenny Baker, all rest in peace. We've lost a lot of the Star Wars cast.
Alright, yep. We lost one of the main trios.
Yeah, which, if Disney is retconning that trilogy, really hope they don't try and recreate it again.
Please.
Just let it be, and let the real princess have her rest.
Let the past be the past. I'm sorry.
Right.
The one line you can agree with. Let the past die.
Let the past die. Yeah, thank you, Ryan Johnson. You should have done that with your... I mean,
I saw really... Knives Out was a revelation.
But going back to the black hole, I don't know if I think I missed like the last 2 minutes.
Hans get crushed by you missed the last 2 minutes of black hole.
I think I had to go somewhere.
So you don't get to see them going through the black hole?
No, I saw them go into the black hole, I believe.
You don't get to see the journey in the black hole, though?
I don't know if I did. I'm trying to remember.
You would remember if you saw it. It is the most acid-trippy bullcrap I have ever seen in my life. We might have to pause it just so you can see this. Because it's worth it.
But I do know that... what's his name? Mm-hmm. Or Dr. Han was crushed. That part I do know.
Yeah, and Maximilian callously left him. So it's like, oh yeah, he was bad the whole time for sure. We knew that, but we definitely knew that.
Yeah. The dynamic between who was the real antagonist was very confusing in this movie, though. I have to give it that. It was kind of hard to keep track.
It was. Them going through the black hole is so bizarre. Because you see, what are you looking at?
Oh, the last scene.
Yeah. Are you watching it right now? Mm-hmm. The music says it all, too.
That is freaky.
Right? It's so weird. I feel like they must have smoked something or ate something.
That literally looks like hell.
Yeah. Let me see. I gotta come around. Hang on, everybody.
Because, and that's Dr. Hans, right?
Yeah, Hans went inside. It shows, Hans inside Maximilian, which is kind of an allegory for, them being...
trapped within the same.
Them being the same person. And yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
Dis-
how the title of this video, Disney's 1997 The Black Hole, was creepy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but the theme that goes with it is very creepy.
Oh, yeah. Are you hearing the music in your headphones?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me on the podcast or no?
I should be able to.
Okay.
I think I hear myself too, so.
Alright.
Well, it only projects through these, so I can hear everything still.
Yeah. And look, there's fire, and it does look like hell.
It literally looks
that?
like hell. Yeah,
what
all
people?
the people walking through.
It literally... Wow. Jeez, so... Event Horizon wasn't the first one to do this route, huh?
Yeah, it's very...
Good God.
Yeah, but the fires of hell and everything that you're looking at.
And then you see, like... I remember you see a woman in a white dress flying through a door at a point. I guess it didn't show that bit, but...
Yeah.
You are invested in this.
Well, I knew the ending was picking up, but I think I had an interview, so I had to go to that. And
I mean, those are important too.
Yeah.
Do I want a job or
do
I want to finish a 1979
movie? It's not like I'm in a movie theater and paying money.
Yeah, it turns all clear at the end, and then there's a woman in like a white dress that almost looks see-through, but not for obvious reasons, and she flies through the door, and then you're out of the black hole, and they're going towards something that looks like Earth, but also kind of doesn't. And then that's how it ends. And I love how it ends because there is that uncertainty there.
Which I think they were trying to really set up for a sequel, but because of the way that they were trying to compete with Star Wars, it didn't last. I mean, this movie's lacking in a sense of story, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that scene was there, so I definitely missed that scene.
Yeah.
That was creepy and also very amazing with the music. Like, let me tell you, I wish I could play it on the podcast, but for obvious reasons and copyright, but I'll link it. Especially because I think we're going to convert some of these into YouTube videos for you guys to listen to. But
and put on visuals.
Oh my God. Just, it really, 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 really shows
there was a lot of potential.
That there was a lot of potential and how much was it? Visual stimulation, but really, yeah, like how much visual processing must have been thought out for a lot of it, though.
I reiterate,
the crimson red was used very well.
Yeah,
like the crimson red in this movie, like when there's the final battle between Vincent and Maximilian, freaked me out. Mm-hmm. Like the crimson red, seeing him crimson red, and the whole ship in the black hole, and everything is crimson red. It really looks like hell.
Yeah, it does.
So that final scene that's the first time I think I've seen something poetic. I haven't really hated a character, but I think this movie definitely... I think this is a very satisfying ending for a villain.
I like how this podcast started with, you're like, it's a fine movie. It's okay. You see the ending. This is brilliant.
Well, I mean, the ending is.
Yeah. The ending, I swear that for them to have made that, they either smoked a joint or ate a shroom.
I mean, and it's still better than part 3. I don't give two shits what you say.
Part 3 of what?
Jaws the Revenge had that ending where the shark exploded. I don't agree with that.
No, we can't keep coming back to this because we will both die on our respective hills. It's going to be the end of us. You're going to hear in like 20 years that we're stopped being friends because we can't get over the fact that one likes the 4th movie and the other likes the 3rd movie better.
The only good thing about the 3rd one was Dennis Quaid.
They're both bad movies, but one is clearly superior. Yours had a shark getting stabbed with a boat and exploding. Explain that crap.
That was the test audience that actually said that they should do it.
Okay, so people are dumb, but still.
Right. I just look at it as Lorraine Gary. Come on, it has Michael Caine and Lorraine Gary.
Yeah. Michael Caine, who said he hates that movie and he's never seen it.
That, but he saw the house that bought, and it's beautiful.
At least Dennis Quaid looks like he's having fun.
I think they had fun in that movie. They just didn't know what was going on. I mean, come on.
How can you have fun if you're not knowing what's going on? So, all right.
Oh, well, look at Star Wars.
Hmm?
They had no idea what was going on. Harrison Ford thought that Chewbacca was a giant dog. Literally, which is why they make in Spaceballs, they make fun of the fact that
Have you read the novels and seen how he gets married and has kids? He is a dog. You know? I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm just saying that, just because you don't know what's going on in a movie doesn't mean that it's always a bad movie. Jaws: The Revenge is a bad movie, okay?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. For the love of
But
Christ,
I personally favor it over
3D.
Because I think that 3D to just be away from just in a water park in general, the shark would have died faster than it would have in the Bahamas.
I'm sorry. Are you arguing logic against a movie where a dead shark is taking revenge?
It was a dead one. That was its own shark.
That was the plot. The fourth shark, the shark in the fourth movie is the same shark from the first movie, and he's getting revenge.
Was it?
Yes! This is the movie you're defending. You don't know that?
I thought it was a random shark that just so happened to claim revenge. I knew in the novelization of the draft scripts that it was supposed to be that a voodoo person cast a spell on a shark to get revenge on the Brody family.
And that's somehow better.
It's not, is it though?
Better than a dead shark coming back to take revenge on a family that killed it.
Where did they say it was a dead shark though? From the first one.
From the first one.
I thought that's what you just said.
She said it's taking revenge on us. He died because he died of fear.
No, she said Brody died of fear.
Yeah. Because she says it's the same shark. She says it in the movie. We're going to have to, stream watching both of these back to back and really just put it to bed.
Because I love Jaws. Jaws as a franchise in general.
No, yeah.
And I watched The Revenge,
one is iconic.
18 times.
One is iconic. Two is alright. 3 is bad. 4 is a dumpster fire with urine. Not to badmouth it, but it is.
I mean, I will say this. The Jaws franchise does show that sequels go downhill once you have a very critical success.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me something. Guys, thank you for listening. God.
I will admit that part.
This is a draining argument that we've had 3 out of 5 podcasts. It'll be on we will have tombstones next to each other, and mine will say Jaws 3D was better than Jaws 4, and yours will say, no, it wasn't. Jaws 4 was better.
The Revenge was better.
God.
Okay, maybe I'm biased because it had Lorraine Gary.
Okay, fair.
And Lance Guest.
I will give you Lance Guest and Lorraine Gary.
Michael Caine. You felt like you didn't belong, but because it's Michael Caine.
Yeah, it's Michael Caine.
You're just happy to see him in Jaws. Come on. The part where he's sitting on the boat, the plane in the water, and he's complaining about all the passengers. Damn passengers, you're all the same. Complain. The shark comes up and he just goes, oh shit, and runs back in the... Come on, they had some pretty good,
I'm not arguing the cast. I'm arguing the execution of plot and the shark.
I'm just saying.
Jaws 3D, I just thought of another point that's gonna F you. Frickin', we get the POV from inside the shark. That is better than anything that happens in Jaws 4.
I was thinking, okay. But...
Thank you. Inside the shark's mouth. I win.
I was confused about one thing. How was she still able to swim when Fitzgerald was stuck in her throat?
I reiterate, why are you asking more questions for movies that begode logic? They're about giant sharks. Don't question them.
I know, but I feel like he would have had time to pull the pin because I didn't understand how he bled out in the shark. Because, she swallows him whole. Mm-hmm. But
it's confirmed it's a she shark?
They say he. I meant to say she. I'm sorry. She swallows him whole. But, like all the sharks, they don't have teeth that far back enough. Mm-hmm. So what exactly mauled him to make him bleed out?
I would assume just the power of a shark crushing, probably broke his ribs and he bleeded internally. I would assume.
That's fair. Because that was something I always asked myself. I'm like, how is he bleeding out when he's not being crunched?
I can't believe during all this I got a "that's fair" from you. I didn't even expect to get that.
Well, because that's what I always wondered, because I never got it. Because I was like, there's a lot of blood, but... Because, like I said, I always wanted to be a marine biologist when I first saw Jaws.
Seeing that movie made you want to be a marine biologist?
Yeah.
Seeing that movie made me not want to take a bath ever again.
Well, that would have been Ghost Shark. Now, if Ghost Shark would have been made first, where they literally used images of Bruce the Shark.
I was young. I didn't have logic.
I was 8. Right. I used to fall asleep to that movie.
Right, I'm defending my idea of not taking a bath, not your idea of being a marine biologist. That's cool. Good for you. I saw Star Wars and I wanted to be an astronaut. Then I learned about the athleticism needed and I said, F no.
Or the fact that, you freeze in space.
Yeah. Well, and I saw that frickin' chair that they spin you around and I was like,
Can you handle this?
No. The answer is no.
Wouldn't it be like if you went to like a little local county park, though? That would be the same thing?
Yeah, but it's like 20 times as fast.
That's true.
Because they're testing gravity.
Plus, they got rid of those because too many people fell out the bottom. You didn't hear about that?
No.
The reason that those stick-to-the-wall things are gone is because people were falling out the bottom.
Ow.
So there's plenty of people who didn't die, but really wished they were dead.
Yeah. Because paralyzed and...
Some of them fully recovered, but they still have issues. I mean... You're spinning around, and then part of your legs get sucked into there onto your joints, and then you're getting flung out the bottom.
I love when they have that fight scene in Stranger Things Season 3 with that.
I gotta rewatch that. I was in the middle of it.
Yeah, you do.
Well,
all right. Thank you for joining us.
In short, Black Hole is definitely a popcorn movie, but definitely watch it. It's on Disney Plus, so if you got Disney Plus, definitely watch it. Tell us what you guys think.
Yeah, I give it like a 7.7 out of 10. Like, it's not a horrible movie. It's fine.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the visual effects, especially the control rooms.
Yeah.
The set design in this, as one other note, was a lot of detail, a lot of minor detail. Apparently, they have some action figures if you guys want to check those out, too, unless I'm putting this up on YouTube, which then you should see the wonderful image of these $100 now, yikes, items.
Here's an image. Bow. There's another image. Bow. Here's 3 more. Bow, bow, bow. You're not even going to do anything with that, and I know it.
Actually, I just might, because that might just be funny. So if you see him, now you know.
And if you didn't know, now you know.
Well, now you get to visualize it, so do it with your own brain. Think for yourselves.
Think for yourself. Don't be a slave to mediocrity and brainwashing. Think for yourself, America.
That's what we're doing on this podcast. We're making you formulate your own decisions based on what we say.
Yes, and based on the current political climate, we'll probably be castrated for it. So, go ahead and follow Noah Sweeto on Twitter at...
Or no, follow me on Instagram at IceSuperN. That's ICESUPR or ERN. At or just
Yep. And I'm Nathaniel Shoemaker. Go ahead and find me on Twitter at Nate David Allen S. That is NATEDAVIDALLENS. The N in Nate is capital. The first D in David is capital. The A in Allen is capital, and the S is capital. Can you believe I got that? Yes.
And we will see you guys in the next episode.
Yeah.
Where one of these we will talk about 80s movies.
Just in general.
Why
are we doing ASMR?
But we're definitely gonna confirm that Jaws thing. We're gonna rewatch. Your face.
I really want to die on a hill, Sweeto. Like I really. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, guys.
See you next time.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Have a good one. All right.
And check out the Black Hole and let us know what you think. So long, everyone.
Bye-bye.